Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jen Trepic, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. This week, we're talking about the easy way out. And whenever I say this, or people hear me say this, I'm pretty sure they think I'm against the easy way out. Yeah. Right? You're nodding.
Yeah.
So for what it's worth, I'm not at all. Yet it depends, though, on what it looks like. Okay? So when I say the easy way out, I don't mean it in the context of a magic pill or something like that I think most people think would be the easy way out, right? Those choices all have another side of that coin. I don't know, maybe that's a mixed whatever. I'm like, metaphors, I'm mixing them all up, but whatever, go with me, right? So like, that's not the easy way out that I mean. I'm not talking about it in terms of a magic pill, because any of those, we then have to make an informed choice, because odds are that's a balancing act of choosing other considerations, right? Kind of like we talked about in this week's episode, where, you know, maybe we need a greater commitment to a supplement if we're choosing some of these foods or not eliminating toxins or whatever it is, right? So when I say the easy button, I think that's what people think I mean, but that's not what I mean. When I say take the easy way out, I mean no one wins for making this the hardest. Like, I believe one of the tricks to making health happen for yourself is making it easy. And this actually just happened on a call with a client. It was a coaching call. And we were talking about, you know, whatever her goal was. And she goes, well, I just need to do it, right? I just need to eat the thing. I just need to get up and exercise before I do emails. And I said, okay, sure, but no.
Okay.
Not at all. And I think that's where everybody ends up feeling like they're white knuckling it and they're failing and they're relying on willpower, because you tell yourself that what you have to do is just do it. And that's not helpful.
Okay.
Right? It's like what you want to do, doing it that way, right? Saying that, like, for me to, you know, get up and exercise before emails and saying, well, I just need to do it, is setting yourself up for disaster. It's setting yourself up to have to rely on willpower. It's setting yourself up for feeling like there's something wrong with you when it doesn't happen.
Okay.
Right? None of those things are true. Rather, what we want to do is identify the thing that we want to do, so we can use the exercise before emails as an example, right? So then the next question is, how do we make that easy? How do we make this the easiest thing to happen? So maybe it's setting the alarm for a time that gives us time to move before we need to be on emails.
Okay.
Maybe it's telling other people on your team that will not be on emails before a certain time. Maybe it's putting a Post-it note on your mirror or your closet that says movement before emails. Maybe it's setting out the exercise clothes before you go to bed, so it's the first thing you see when you wake up. Maybe it's writing down the exercises that you're going to do so that in the morning you don't have to think about it. You can simply, dare I say, easily follow the instructions on the Post-it, and before you even realize it, it's what's happening, right? Like, you're in it already. Maybe it's a Post-it on your computer that says, have you moved your body yet? Like, even like we talked about in this week's episode, a 10-minute walk after dinner. Maybe it's eating dinner with your sneakers on. A Post-it on the table that says, get up and walk after dinner. Maybe it's a Post-it on the dishwasher that says, go walk for 10 minutes first, right? Like, how can we create these physical reminders that make it easier?
Okay.
Right? So I'm a really big fan of Post-its, clearly, right? I also use alarms on my phone a lot. But it's interesting, in the same coaching call with this client, I mentioned the alarms on my phone, and she was like, yeah, well, I have like 20 alarms that go off. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. No, the alarm has to have words with it. So it tells me what to do at that time, right? So it's not just the alarm that goes off, but the instructions that are with it.
Right.
So that it's an actual reminder. The objective is for this to be easy. If when the alarm goes off, you have to figure out what the alarm was for, it's not easy.
Right.
Make it easy. Take the easy way out. So we'll go with another example really quick. One I hear all the time, which is I need to eat more veggies. Right? Okay. How do we make that easy? The answer is not just eat more veggies. The answer is we buy them at the grocery store, right? Maybe we have a list of 4 different veggies that we're going to buy when we go to the grocery store. Maybe we keep some veggies cut up in the fridge that are already ready to eat. We heard in our 300th episode, Cindy does that. Judy does that, right? Maybe it's a Post-it on the fridge that says, where are the veggies? So that it reminds you to put them on your plate. Maybe it's finding 2 recipes for the same veggie and then blocking time in your calendar to actually make each one. Telling ourselves that we just need to do something is, to me, not helpful and recipe for difficulty. And remember, no one wins for making this the hardest. So to me, the easy way out is minimizing the thinking that has to happen in the moment, minimizing the decisions that have to be made. So I also ask, how can you make it easier on yourself for these healthful choices and actions to happen? Right? I've talked about this in our cravings episode, which was episode 91, if you want to go back to that, if you want to hear like a different variation of this conversation. But I think fundamentally, if you're feeling like you're white knuckling it, if it feels like making this health stuff happen is exhausting, pause, stop, ask yourself, how can you make it easy? Because I am encouraging you to take the easy way out. Consider what you need to put in place to make the thing you want to do the easiest thing to do.
It's a great approach.
All right, Keith, what do you think?
That's a great approach. You've done it again, Jen.
What's something, not to put you on the spot, what's something that you can make easier?
Sleep. Going back to one of our main points, how to make sleep easier.
Okay. What's one thing you can do to make sleep easier?
You know, you hear it a lot, but doing it is different. When you can set a bedtime, but then you can get in bed and still like read your phone. So really like cutting out the screen time and sticking to your bedtime is probably a big, easy one for everyone.
Yeah, but so what needs to exist for you to do that?
You need to, it's easier to physically move your phone into a different room than it is to say, oh, the willpower of like my phone's right next to me, I'm not going to look at it. But then you want to look at it and you're stressing about what's going on.
1,000%. 1,000%. You can also put a post-it on your nightstand that says no more phone after this time.
Yeah.
You can also, one of the first things I did, actually a million years ago, I have this thing in my calendar. I think it's at 10:45 p.m. every night in the calendar that has an alarm with it that says stop what you're doing and get ready for bed so that it interrupts me no matter what I'm doing.
That's a good one.
There's also an app or a setting on your phone that will automatically shut your phone off at a certain time.
Okay.
Right? How can you make it easier? Break it down. Keep breaking it down into smaller and smaller and easier things so that we're relying less on how we feel in the moment or having to think about the things in the moment.
Right.
I love it. All right. We did a thing. Well, as always, everybody, I'm your host, Jen Trepeck. Connect with me on Instagram or all social media. I am at Jen Trepeck, JenNTrepeck. Website is asaladwithasideofries.com. Pick your platform, send a message. I really love hearing from you every time. So please reach out. Keith, thank you again for being
Jen,
here.
Thank you. Looking forward to kicking out those lima beans.
Awesome. All right. And of course, everybody, if you are not already, join our membership program by going to glow.fm/salad with a side of fries. This shows your support for this podcast, this community, and most importantly, it supports your health. You'll get this week's recipe for the salmon with spinach and white beans. That is literally 15 minutes start to finish. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.